Welcome to Thursday, March 25th, 2021. Well, we're going to wrap up this week and take a look at the last week of March with a couple of things to watch. First of all, we've got a small storm system arriving later today and into Friday. Then warmer weather is coming. The specific system is going to have its biggest impacts tonight and Friday. We're already seeing some snow developing in western Wyoming, eastern Idaho, and southwest Montana, parts of the Great Basin, as the system comes out of the Pacific Northwest. Not going to be a major factor, but it will produce a little bit of weather tonight and tomorrow. We'll talk about that. We've got a warm-up coming for the weekend into Monday. Very nice weather coming, especially Sunday into Monday. Sunday and Monday will bring in some really milder air that I think a lot of folks will enjoy. The next front arrives late Monday and Tuesday. It does not appear to be a big storm at the moment. I do think it will certainly bring a shot of snow to the mountains, a little bit of rain and snow to the plains, but then long term, we may start early April off pretty darn warm the way things are looking right now, and that would include Easter weekend. And we'll take a look at that long-range forecast because some interesting things to look at as we take a look into early April. Wanted to update everybody on the most recent Drought Monitor that just came out this morning. Now, this is precipitation through Tuesday. Couple of things to highlight. First of all, if you want to see where the biggest chunk of the drought was taken out, it was really right here as those areas, look at that, it's gone white, which basically means soil moisture conditions have gone back to normal conditions. Central, south central, and eastern Nebraska and parts of southwest Iowa here in Kansas really showed the biggest change. Now, we also saw, as you can see, yellow and brown here, this area here was in severe and exceptional drought, rather extreme and severe drought, and has now gone to moderate drought, abnormally dry. But notice, even in the area here, they got 2 to 3 inches of water out of that big storm. It's still in a moderately droughty situation. The big red blotch here in central Wyoming remains. Look at the Dakotas, look at still western Nebraska, western South Dakota, and eastern Colorado. Then look at all the red here, west of the divide, into California, into the Great Basin, into West Texas. So the perception for some of you, especially if you've got a giant pile of snow at the end of your driveway or sidewalk, is, well, it's wet now, the drought's over. Well, no, it's not. We got to follow up that March storm with others. If we were to take a look at the change in 1 week, you can see there where Nebraska, parts of Kansas, and some areas of eastern Colorado did see some better changes up here in southern Montana, northern Wyoming as well. But it looks like when you focus in, we've got a long way to go still. If we were to focus in to the region a little more closely, this area here is a problem. The western slope of Colorado, a problem. And eastern plains are still looking at drier than normal conditions. This area here is a concern as it could go into red if we don't get moisture soon along that I-90 corridor. As we take a look at areas west of the divide a little bit more closely, we got a long way to go before we can really say that we're done with the dry conditions. As we take a look at the current pattern, we've got this next trough approaching. Today we're in a southwest wind aloft. So today will be mild as that warmer air comes on in. But this little low right here is going to swing south and east through the region. So it is going to produce some areas of rain and snow. By Saturday morning, the system gets stretched apart with part of the system going across the northern plains, the other part hanging back here across the desert southwest. But here's this high pressure nosing its way on in. And what will happen is, as we get into Sunday and Monday, that high pressure ridge builds in. And we see high pressure coming in. And if you follow the wind barbs here, showing where the wind directions are coming from, they're all coming in from the west, pushing in milder air from the Pacific coast and the desert states into our neck of the woods here. So it's going to bring much warmer conditions our way. You'll notice it late Saturday, and Sunday and Monday are the 2 days to take advantage of. Here's our next front. You can see how kind of sharp this is. Now, this is a classic March front coming on in, getting pushed in from the Pacific Northwest. It'll swing through the area, and that'll bring the next change in the weather Tuesday and Wednesday. This is the forecasted precipitation through Sunday. So basically what you're seeing here is what's going to be falling from late today through Friday night. This is not really showing what's going to come after that because there really isn't much of anything. But you can see nothing is really heavy, but the mountains of southwest Colorado, The Wasatch of Utah, going to get some moisture out of this, the mountains of northern Arizona, but not very much, as you can see on the plains. A little bit here. Wouldn't be surprised if this area right here during the day tomorrow, somebody gets an isolated thunderstorm. But once we get by this time frame and we get the rain, and this is what it looks like when you convert that rain to snow, again, nobody getting clobbered. It's just a little bit of moisture that'll help the snowpack. The next front arrives on Tuesday. And again, it's not going to become a closed four corners low. It's going to be a very quick moving system again. But Monday night, Tuesday, rain and snow will return to the Rockies and the high plains. But just as quickly as it leaves, this high pressure is going to come in behind it. And this is for Good Friday, or from a week from today into the upcoming Easter weekend. What I want you to pay attention to is this area of low pressure here, and this area of low pressure that's forming along the East Coast. What appears that the models are seeing, and what we're seeing when we take a look at things with the way that the seasonality of changes as you go deeper in the spring sometimes happens, is what a lot of times we'll see this big low not come in but stall off the West Coast while this system sort of stays in place. And the end result is you end up getting a high pressure ridge that builds in between this low here and this low here. So the central part and the western part of the United States could go under a building high pressure system. That will pump in warmer air off the West Coast and the desert states into the high plains and Rockies. So we have this change in the weather Monday night and Tuesday. Then from Wednesday through Friday and probably through Easter Sunday, it could get quite warm. Now this is for Sunday night and Monday, really warm air coming in from the desert Southwest. So the first 5 days of April could be very warm. And there you've got the low up here in the Gulf of Alaska, and you've got the low up here in the northeastern United States. Remember, it's high pressure in this area that makes us cold here. When low pressure is up here, we get that warmer southwest flow coming on in. The one thing you may be noticing is say, hey, Don, look, there's a low there in central and southern California by next Sunday night and Monday. Well, there is, at least on the European model. Now, this guy right here could very well slip in as we get into the week after this next weekend. So I'm talking about around the 7th or the 8th of April. That looks like maybe the next chance of moisture. And here it is right here. This is around April 7th and 8th. Notice the high pressure ridge is overhead. The jet stream, the main jet stream is well north. We're cut off from the cold air. So if this system comes in, this is likely going to be a rain producer on the plains and snow in the mountains right around April 7th or 8th. We got to put a big question mark on this guy though, because if this guy ends up stalling out here, or maybe gets drawn up into the jet stream and doesn't move into the Great Basin and Rockies, well, then the second week of April will be dominated by warmth. So we could very well see that beginning part of April is ending up really mild if this guy stalls and if this little low does not come on in, because we got a low in the Gulf of Alaska, a low in the Northeast, which means high pressure in the middle of the country. Now, that doesn't really mean good news. I know a lot of you want to have some warm spring weather, and we're going to get some, but March, April, May, and June are the wettest months of the year. If we go through the first 2 weeks of April with no significant stormy weather, well, then we're just going right back to our dry weather pattern again. So something we'll keep an eye on in the days and the weeks ahead. Thanks for watching and listening to the Day Weather Podcast. Talk to you tomorrow.